20th of March, students of art history course of Nalanda University, along with instructor Dr. Christian Wekheischer and other member faculties, visited Barabar Caves. Totally, there are 7 caves. We also explored the site of Govardhan and Shiva temples.
Ajivikas is a heterodox sect of Indian school of thought whose propounders were Makali Ghosala, Ajit Kesh Kamli and Sanjay Beliputra. The textual evidence is found in Buddhist and Jain sources only, as no written philosophical literature written by Ajivikas is available to us. The metaphysics of Ajivikas does not give agency to human beings and believes that fate is an adaptation of rigid caste system. Ajivikas propounded the doctrine of change through reanimation as in plant regeneration, which is also the theory of natural transformation, which believes in natural and spiritual evolution through endless rounds of births and death, which is also known as samsara suddhi.
The history of the Barabar Caves is an indicator of appropriation of these caves by different political and religious entities which were placed in different chronological periods. The caves were carved at the end of the first early historic period, that is around 2nd century of the before Common Era. Literature which is available to us about the caves is starting from the mid of 19th century. Caves have been mentioned by Francis Buchanan Hamilton, who visited this place in 1811, and Major Kitto, who visited in 1847, and later on the surveys were conducted by Cunningham in 1865 and Blush in 1902. The aesthetics of these caves are not as spectacular as those of the western group of caves of Kanheri or Bhanja or Ajanta Ellora caves. However, we do have indications that the Lomas Rishi cave had a certain niche wherein they might have housed an image of Krishna. Therefore, Barabar caves are also on the same lines called as Sudama caves and Lomas Rishi, indicating their relation with Lord Krishna.
The Barabar caves, what we cannot miss are the inscriptions there. So, and these inscriptions are also very important to date these caves. So, I've got 3 inscriptions here that we can look at. So, the first one is from the Sudama cave, as you guys it is called. So, the inscription of the Sudama cave says that King Priyadarshan, 12 years after his consecration, came here and gifted this cave to the Ajivikas. Now, by this we can see how the caves can be dated. They can be dated back to the time of Ashoka, Priyadarshan being Ashoka, and this means the cave is dated back to 252 BC. Second inscription that we have to look at is from another cave, that is the Gopi cave. Okay, the milkmaid's cave as it's known as. So that says that the Gopi cave is an abode lasting as the sun and the moon, which was excavated by Devanam Priya Dasharath on his ascension to the throne as a hermitage for the most beloved Ajivikas. So by this we can see Dasharath, who was the grandson of Ashoka. So this cave is dated back to the time of the grandson of Ashoka, that is around 214 BC. So now the third inscription that I have is from the Karna Chopar cave. So the Karna Chopar inscription says that when King Priyadarshan, 19 years after his consecration, came here, he gifted this cave in the Kalatika mountain. Now Barabar mountain at that time was known as the Kalatika mountain. So he gifted this cave in the Kalatika mountain to the Ajivikas.
Rocks are very old, almost like 1.8 billion years old, and it's it's a testimony to the fact that how deep knowledge was existing about geology, about the technology of how to really excavate these kind of rock structure. The other thing is, of course, the area where it is happening. Um, so these are caves that are created in the middle of very flat terrain. So it's quite intriguing as to what purpose these would have served, who would be living there, why were they created in the very first place. So it's quite amazing, and what would have happened over these hundreds of years, what were the successive plans of people, how they would be using it. So these are all open questions and very intriguing for us to look at. So,
we have been in a cave in which it is said that Nagarjuna was there and have written one of his work. It might be a legend, but thought of Nagarjuna, the middle way, or Madhyamaka, is a treaty of relation. According to this, we are living under the principle of mutual relationship. As to environmental issue, I think it will give us profound view on relation between environment and ourselves.
Well, I mean, entering a cave is always a very emotional experience. You are entering the womb of the earth, and I recall having visited a few caves, and I always felt sometimes even a bit afraid, but these caves are not so big, so they are okay. Darkness is also quite intriguing. I would say personally, I really liked I tried to imagine how those caves were used, who lived in them, so I tried to imagine those ascetics who spent there many years doing meditation, teaching. So I tried to imagine really how they look like, if there were any object of worship, how they would be lit, for example, with fires and so on. And in fact, the echo was also striking. I never encountered anything like that, especially one cave in Nagarjuni group of caves. The echo was really fantastic. I mean, very strange. So I wonder whether they did it on purpose or it was just by chance that.
As I said, this echo, I had feared that Forster had magnified it. It was really amazing, and it was more striking when there were fewer people in the caves, of course, but in this cave especially, as it lasted for so long, and you could feel the vibration of the sound, actually as if the sound was physical, going through you, as if there was like a bunch of mice maybe. And as Andrea has mentioned, the fact that they are almost bunkers, so you feel the weight of the stone, the density of the material, you're almost at the center of the earth somehow. And this amazing thing happened. It's somehow as if you're in contact with the numinous.